Okay, so let's get going in the essence of time and respect for everyone's time. So this is Mark Doherty with Kelly Generator and Equipment. Thank you everyone for joining today. We're real excited to go over this offering and education session for you today. I want to make a few notes that this is being recorded, so that way we have it available. And as well, as a result of it being recorded, everyone's muted, okay? So you won't be able to talk or ask questions. We do want you to ask questions, however, and the questions should be done through the chat function, not through Q&A. We won't be monitoring Q&A. So put it through chat, and just be aware that everyone else will be able to see your chat question, and answers might be typed, but we'll try to address them verbally during the discussion. And I think that's everything that I need to say. We're just excited and happy that you're able to join us today. And I'm going to pass this presentation off to David March, who's going to lead us through. Dave is the head of our software operations and energy markets team, and he'll be walking us through the slides today. And take it away, Dave.
Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate it. And everyone, thank you so much for joining. I know it's Thanksgiving week. And please, if you do have questions, put them in the chat box. We'll deal with them in real time if we absolutely can. So I want to introduce you to KellyComplete. Now, let's take a step back for a second. Kelly has been providing industry-leading customer service and satisfaction for 30 years. And we know, because of the business we're in, keeping you up, running, and resilient is the most important thing that we can do. And we want to do that as effectively, as cost effectively, and as sustainably as possible as well. So looking out at the challenges that you face with climate change, your energy bills, we created KellyComplete. And it's got three pieces to it: always on, always green, and always save. And what that really means is always on just means that there's a backup generator there that will run your entire operation. So there's no compromise there. 100% of your load's going to be covered. Always green means we're going to source renewable energy for you. When the grid isn't down, 100% of your energy is going to come from renewable sources. And always save is we're able to provide you 100% green energy, a backup generator, and you're going to spend less than you're currently spending on your electricity bill. So it's as simple as ABC: free on-site power generation. A generator, in this case, it's a natural gas generator, equal to at least your load, will be on-site powering your operation if the grid goes down. We enter into long-term renewable energy contracts for 100% of your load. And I want to be really clear here. Again, 30 years in the business, we hold ethics and integrity above all. We don't play games on this. We're not buying useless wind wrecks or something like that. We literally contract with renewable generation that matches your load, and we actually contract for those electrons at the same time that your load runs. And it's a combination of wind and solar and hydro at different places in the country to match your load. And generally, you're going to save about 10 to 15% on average on your current electricity spend. Now, that's just your electricity bill. We'll get into the maintenance of your generator and things like that, which we cover as well. So what you receive, a natural gas generator for 100% of your load. All your grid energy is renewable. You get savings, and there's no upfront cost whatsoever. You sign up or subscribe to our service, you start saving money immediately, you get resiliency as a service, all at no cost to you. All right, let's be really honest here. Wait a minute, this sounds way too good to be true. What's the catch? There is no free lunch. I think we all learned that. So what is going on here? Well, actually, there is no catch. We're just doing what the grid is asking us to do and turning that into a valuable service for you. So what does the grid need? So the grid right now needs to decarbonize. So if you look at every utility out there, they're all saying things like we're going to be zero carbon by 2030 or 2050 or something like that. So they want renewables, solar, wind, hydro. But the tricky piece of this is wind and solar and even hydro are intermittent sources. So, I mean, a solar field can move 20, 30, 40% of generation in a minute. Those intermittent renewables destabilize the grid. Now, the grid has got to keep it stable. It's got to be reliable. It's got to be resilient. So it needs essentially what are called balancing services. And it prefers to have those at a local level, because what we're seeing today of all this distributed renewable energy is that we see this intermittency at different nodes all across the grid. So the grid wants us to put in place these balancing services on a local basis. And those balancing services are natural gas generators. They need something that can come up and ramp up quickly and run for potentially long periods of time. And what they essentially do is give us financial incentives to do this and provide those services for the grid. So KellyComplete, it's pretty simple, combines utility scale renewables. So these are large wind, solar, and hydro farms with your load and with a natural gas generator to provide the grid what it needs to be stable and at the same time decarbonize. So what you can think is that natural gas generator that's behind your meter on your premises is not only there in order to keep you running if the grid is down, it's also there as your contribution to society and essentially customer service to help the grid integrate more and more renewables and to meet their goals of decarbonization and zero carbon by 2030, 2050. Now, doing this requires tight automated software integration with the grid. And that's essentially what's the heart of KellyComplete. It's a software system that's talking to the grid constantly, monitoring your load, communicating with that backup generator. And when the grid says, I need help, now they'll say, I need help, I'm willing to pay this much for that help. We are able to immediately and in a pure automated sense, give the grid the support that it needs to remain stable, low cost, and reliable, and meet their decarbonization goals. So KellyComplete is really just a software platform or a subscription that you sign up for to get all the benefits. You get to be green, you get to be resilient, you get to save money, it doesn't cost you anything, because essentially the grid itself is helping to pay the bill. Let me give it a quick case study here. And this was it still is, a plastics injection molding company in New Jersey. They operate 24/7. They are, unfortunately for them, located at the end of the distribution line. And they typically average about 5 outages per year. And it usually ranges, and I say average, actually 5 is probably the low end of it. They've been averaging 5 to 8 over the last couple of years. And if you think about an injection molding company, you got a lot of current spikes and things like that. Their electricity bill before KellyComplete was just over $400,000 a year. Now, when I say KellyComplete prototype, it wasn't called KellyComplete at that time. We were testing and things like that, but just so you know. So they needed to make sure that they could continue to run if the grid went down and went down fairly frequently, but we also needed to, again, provide them with that services to the grid that the grid needed, especially for that distribution line. So we installed a 1.2 megawatt natural gas generator. In this case, it's prime power generation. After we did that installation, after we brought them onto the KellyComplete, their electricity bill fell from 400,000 to 366, or they've saved roughly $34,000 every year on their electricity bill. That's on their electricity bill. Now, the outages themselves, if they've got 5 of them, they typically would cost them about $40,000 per outage. And this is because if that facility went down for more than just a couple of minutes, about 2 minutes was the max that it could be down. If it went down for that long, the molten plastic in the machines would start to solidify and seize up. And they would be down for at least 2 shifts, taking all the machines apart, cleaning them, repolishing the molds and everything else at about 40,000. So just by eliminating those 5 outages a year, that's another $200,000 of savings. So the total savings for this customer, the savings on the bill, the savings on sort of business interruption was about $234,000. This program works because it's got support from everybody, from the grid, from our own business operations, and most importantly, from Kelly. So wait a second, okay, maybe it's not too good to be true because there's a lot going on in the background with the grid, but what does it do to me? How are things going to change? Well, things will change for you, honestly, but they're only going to change for the better. First and most important, you will remain a Kelly customer. Kelly is committed to your satisfaction, your uptime, everything about your business that's power centric is our focus. You won't know we're even there unless the grid goes down. If the grid says, hey, I've got these intermittent renewables and I need some help here, I need you to manage that load a little closer, we will manage that backup generator to, I'm going to say this in a sort of a negative way, sort of manipulate how your load is presented to the grid in order for the grid to remain stable. You will never know anything is going on. You have no cost in it. There's no downtime. There's no light flickers. There's nothing. We take care of all of that for you. If the grid is up, we never disconnect you from the grid. We always keep you synchronized to the grid. So if anything happens, again, you never know we're there and we're operating. Now, one of the great benefits of this program is you get a lower, save money lower, and simpler bill. It's simply a fixed rate, how much per kilowatt hour we charge, times the kilowatt hours that you use. If you've had the joy, and I know all of you have had the joy of going through your electricity bill with the hundreds of line items, I'm exaggerating there, but lots of odd costs and how they're the costs are applied and things, all that goes away. We essentially become your utility and we send you a simple bill. You consume this much power, this is the cost per kilowatt hour, this is what you pay. Wonderful. No more maintenance or service costs. Kelly takes over those expenses, and it's purely for self-serving. We need to make sure that our generators are always ready to supply the services that the grid wants us to balance those intermittent renewables. So we are taking responsibility to make sure that those generators, as we always has over the last 30 years, making sure they're in tip-top condition and ready for whatever may come up. No telephone calls, no emails, everything is automatic. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Many times when people are doing demand response and services to the grid, you get an email or a text message or something that says, please turn on your generator or please turn down your air conditioners or something like that. Now, again, You don't even know we're there. We take care of everything. It's all automatically managed. We want you to completely forget that we're there, except for getting great service. So KellyComplete, again, we combine utility scale renewables because they're the least expensive, and those are the ones that the grid really needs to be balanced. We use your load, the natural gas backup generator, to provide the grid what it needs to be stable, to decarbonize, and most importantly, to provide you with all the services and savings. All right, so how does this work? So let's hope we got over it's too good to be true. And it's only the things that change only changed for the better for you. So how does it work? A couple of examples. So let's say you own a natural gas generator currently. You want to be green and you want to save money. You just subscribe to KellyComplete, and we take over ensuring that 100% of your grid energy is green. We save you money, and we then again we take over the service and maintenance. Maybe, just maybe, you own a natural gas generator. You want to be green, you want to save money, but you also would like to push some cash in your pocket. Just subscribe and we will give you money for that generator to make you green and to save you money. So you contract to purchase less expensive renewable energy from us, but for a longer period of time. In the first case, we're not buying the generator back from you. You subscribe to the platform on a yearly basis, and that's great. If you want us to buy your generator back and save money and, again, put some cash in your pocket, you then you would contract with us to supply 100% of your energy for a somewhat longer period of time, depending upon how old your generator is. Maybe you need a generator. You've been thinking about one, you got a new facility or something, just sign up. We'll install the right generator that's for your operation. And again, we make sure that it covers 100% of your load. When the grid is down, we don't want you to have to compromise on how you operate your facility. So we install a generator that can manage your peak operating load. We'll make you green by contracting with renewable sources at the right places and times to meet exactly your load. Again, we don't play this greenwashing Rex game. We save you money all at no upfront cost. Now let's think about this. You don't have a generator. We're going to install that generator for you to provide you with essentially backup and resiliency as a service, but it's all part of that single per kilowatt hour charge, which is less than you're currently spending. And it's all green energy that's coming from the grid. Now, again, you would then just agree, since we're putting the generator in, no cost to you, you would sign up for your green electricity from a longer period of time. And lastly, you want to replace, you got a diesel generator, you want something better, it's old, your business has changed, you might need additional generation capacity. Again, just subscribe. We'll give you money for your current diesel generator, put that money in your pocket. We'll install the right natural gas generator, get you the green renewable energy, make you resilient, and still save you money. Under every circumstance, you're going to be paying less than you do today. You're going to have more resiliency potentially than you have today. And you're going to be able to tell your customers we're 100% green. All right, so why should I do this, right? Now, if you already have a generator, you know why you do this, because the grid is becoming less and less stable all the time. And that's for two reasons. One, the grid is old. I hate to say it, I'm old, but the grid's even older than I am. A lot of the grid was put in place 60, 70, 80 years ago and hasn't been updated. We've been doing patches and Band-Aids and a whole variety of those things. The most important, though, is extreme weather conditions are getting more frequent. the number of outages have doubled over the last 5 or 8 years. The length of time that an outage lasts has doubled as well. And if you don't believe me, which you shouldn't, I always go to the insurance companies because they're the people that really track all this. Insurance companies are paying 7 times more for severe thunderstorm damage than they were in the late 20th century. 7 times more. Storms are getting stronger. The rainfall is getting more intense. 92% of businesses have experienced an energy-related failure in the last 12 months. Here's another graph of why you should do this. This is, and it's just billion-dollar disaster events, right? From 1980 up, this ended at just April in 2018. You'll notice while it bounces around, there is a steady increase in what's happening. And notice the piece that's increasing the most is the green one, which is severe storms. Severe storms, that's tornadoes, that's thunderstorms, that's flooding, all of that has been just cranking along and almost doubling, at least doubling. If you look at that green between 19, the average around the 80s, and that average in 2010 and on, it's probably 5, 6, 7 times as often. And it's 78% of outages are due to downed wires and things like that. So it's happening more and more frequently. Sort of basically what does it mean is you've got to take more and more responsibility for your own business interruption, for your own resiliency. And Kelly is here to make that easy, painless, and most importantly, we're actually making it profitable to be resilient. And sort of the last piece here, going down is expensive. Now, I talked about our customer up in New Jersey. So every down was about $40,000. They were a small manufacturing company. So if they were down for just a few minutes, it was going to be $40,000. This one shows an average, and this is based on 2013 dollar value. So it's standard for dollar value at this point. So if you're a manufacturing company and you're down for 6 hours, this is medium size, on average, you could be losing $150,000. So if you don't have a generator, let's just think about this for a second. You can get resiliency as a service at no cost. You can get renewable at savings and save money with no upfront cost. And just 1 6-hour down could save you $150,000 in addition. Does anybody else do this? No. Okay. KellyComplete was developed by Kelly for Kelly's customers. We, again, been in the business for 30 years. We think about you constantly. And we look at it and say, how can we help? How can we be the best power partner for our customers? If you want to do this yourself, other firms will source green energy for you, but at a much higher price because they're going to look at it as one unit at a time. We're able to do it across an entire portfolio, and we're able to do it directly in the wholesale markets through our reverse auction platform. Other firms will give you money to use your generator for capacity payments and maybe demand respond, but they're not going to ensure that that generator is taken care of. The service and maintenance, that's still on you, and they're going to use it and you're going to pay for the service and maintenance. And in most cases, they're going to be intrusive to your operation. They're going to send you a text or an email and say, hey, please turn your generator on or turn your air conditioning down or something like that. KellyComplete is based on the idea that the most important thing our customers can do is focus 100% on their business and not have to be responding to a text message about their energy consumptions. Other firms like how to run your operation and turn your devices down and things like that. We don't do that. You run your business, we'll manage your resiliency, we'll manage your costs, we'll manage your green. KellyComplete makes it simple, provides the best value, and actually, most importantly, you know and trust us. So KellyComplete, the 1, 2, 3, always on, always green, always save, because power and our customers matter. Do we have any questions out there? I wanted to try and keep this to less than 30 minutes, so we're in pretty good shape that way. Dave, do we have any questions?
We have one question about which states and areas do you guys work in?
So I'm going to let Mark or Laura respond to that one, please.
Sure, this is Mark Doherty. I can answer that, and then I'm going to ask you another common question we've heard before. So the states that we work in, we really are focused on any of the deregulated markets in the U.S. presently. You know, we are mainly located in the sort of Western Pennsylvania down through South Carolina region. However, because of this offering and the different markets, we're doing work in, you know, across the country. So we have opportunities in this space, California and Texas and Missouri, et cetera. So we can do that kind of work anywhere through our partners. So if you have an opportunity, we're happy to look at it regardless of location. So hopefully that answers that question. Dave, the other thing that we hear often is, well, how can you call this 100% renewable if you're burning natural gas at my facility? And a lot of people get confused. They don't understand how that works. So if you could answer that, I think that probably is a question on everyone's mind.
Sure, and it's a little complicated, so sort of bear with me for a second. So let's break it into two pieces. Piece number one is we always contract for 100% of your load with renewable generation. So it is always there. Now, if we can't deliver that to you because of two situations, the grid's either down or because of local conditions of the grid is asking us not to deliver it. They're literally asking us and say, we would like you to reduce the load at this node rather than we're trying to bring this power across. Maybe because the lines are hot, you know, it's a hot day and things like that. So they're asking us to reduce your load. So we fire up a natural gas generator. That being said, those renewable electrons are still being generated. Since we can't deliver them to you, they're immediately sold to the grid at the other location and credited to your account. So even though we're generating for you in the background, we are always generating 100% of your load as renewable. So one way you could think about it is your business or your 100% green is always in the front. The natural gas generator providing services to the grid is kind of our responsibility. That's our business. So we're helping the grid to make sure that it's stable and decarbonized. So again, 100% of your load is always generated with renewable, and if we can't deliver it, is sold essentially on behalf of your account. Mark, was that sort of clear enough?
It was clear to me. I think it's probably very clear to the audience as well. So if not, I'm sure they'll throw something up on the chat there. One of the other things I wanted to mention is just, again, some of the experiences we've been having with this offering and the types of customers coming to us. So, and Dave touched on it briefly, but, you know, we have a lot, Kelly Generator has, you know, 5,000 generators in our portfolio that we maintain on a regular basis across the region, and close to 50 technicians on the road every day doing maintenance at our customer sites. So we have a lot of customers with existing generators, and some of their business situations include, gee, my generator's getting super old and I can't seem to get, you know, I'm the facilities director, I can't seem to get capital dollars approved to replace the generator, but I'm getting nervous about power reliability because it directly affects our operations. So and we know that our customers have these problems. So that was probably the main driver for us developing this solution. Was we've got to find a way to be able to continue to provide power reliability and business continuity to our clients without them feeling like, with business, the way things are going with the markets, with COVID, business has slowed down for a lot of these types of businesses. And we're trying to help them get through this until it goes away. And the capital dollars getting squeezed. So, but we don't want them to lose power at their facility. So that's probably the number one place we're seeing it. The second place we're seeing it is people who don't have generators, but they've always thought, I really would like to have one, but I just never could get approval. Or we have a rental generator that's been sitting on our property for years and years, and that's in my operations budget, and I can pay that on a monthly basis, but I can't get the capital approved to put in a permanent generator. Now, Kelly Generator also has one of the largest fleets of rental generators in the Eastern US. And so we have a lot of customers like this who have been renting generators from us for years and years, and we're happy to do that. But this is a better solution for those clients. We'll find a way to rent that generator somewhere else. But if we could provide a permanent solution, and when we talk to those customers, they say the same thing. They say, you know what? I get the operations dollars approved, but I can never get the capital dollars approved. And so this is a huge relief for them. So those are sort of the two main places. The other area that's popping up recently, because we're now a distributor for Siemens Energy on the cogeneration CHP side of the house, is that there are a lot of clients that are considering cogeneration because they have a use for thermal energy and waste heat at their facility, and they want power reliability, and they want to save money and reduce their carbon footprint. So we're actually able to use this offering on a cogeneration project as well. So we're now getting calls from future customers, from engineering design firms who want to say, I have a client, they want to do CHP, but we did a design, it's sitting on the shelf. It's not moving forward because they can't figure out how to justify the capital expense. They want a 3-year payback because they're an industrial, and that's how they do things in their business. And this only has a 6 or 7 year payback on paper when we analyze it. So with our solution, it's an immediate payback because there's no capital cost to the customer, and they're getting immediate energy savings. So it's actually cash positive on day one. So we've really sort of flipped the equation upside down, and we're solving problems for customers and the grid. And it's a wonderful thing. So I'm just trying to put some ideas in your heads as to where we're seeing opportunities, so that when you think about yourselves, or if you're, we have some folks from engineering firms and other energy related type companies. If you have clients who have these types of needs, maybe we can work together on bringing this offering to your clients. So just wanted to put that in there. Do we have any other questions on the chat?
Doesn't look like we've got any other questions, so I'll hand it over to you guys for closing comments.
Sure, and thanks again, Dave. That was great. If anybody does have questions that they don't want to be public, you can see my contact information right here in my email, mdougherty@kge.com, or call me direct on the cell phone's always best. It's always running around, even these days. So thank you. We'll continue to have this seminar again in the future, possibly not during a holiday week like this. And so if you have colleagues that you would like to hear this again, please let us know. Shoot me an email, give me a call, and we'll be setting this up again later in December or early in the new year. So thank you everyone for calling in and joining and listening in and watching. And thanks again to Dave and the rest of the Kelly Generator team. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Have a great holiday. Thanks again.
Happy Thanksgiving.